Okay, and it's PLB back with another video. This will be uploaded to the PLB channel, the third channel. Just wanted to talk about baseball. What I've been seeing through these first games, and yeah, just talk about baseball. So make sure you drop a like on this video, as well as subscribe to the channel. Let's try to get this video to 6 likes. Is that crazy? I don't think so. I guess I'll upload like a talking about baseball video like once a week on this channel, maybe twice, probably once though. Make sure you drop a like on this video because the uploads will be a little more consistent on the PLB channel. But I just wanted to sit down, talk about baseball for this video. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into this video. So we know there have been some surprise teams, some disappointing teams so far this season. I'm going to talk about every team, what I've seen so far. We'll start off in the AL East. We'll start off at the top of the division with the Yankees. From the Yankees so far, I've seen a lot of good. I've seen Aaron Judge hitting the ball really well. He's looking like he's finally healthy. He's finally back to his best form. He's looking really good so far. Their starting pitching's been decent, which I think was my only problem with the Yankees. Paxton and Happ still have not looked good, but Cole, Severino, they've looked decent so far. The hitting's always going to perform for the Yankees. You've got Sanchez in that lineup. You've got LeMahieu in that lineup. You've got Torres in that lineup. You've got Gardner's been hitting the ball pretty well. Stanton's really not even healthy right now, and they're still playing good. So they've got a 9-4 record right now. They're leading the AL East, and will they probably stay that way? Probably. The Rays have got off to a pretty slow start, and I thought that was their biggest competition. The Yankees have started off good. I think Aaron Judge is looking like an MVP right now, and I think Mike Trout's going to be really good too, but I think the front runner right now, if we're looking at it, it's probably Aaron Judge. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about the Baltimore Orioles. They've obviously surprised some people so far with a 6-7 record. They're 3 games back, obviously, but they are surprising some people a little bit, and they're surprising me too. I didn't see them, and a big reason why they're so good right now is Renato Nunez. He's been hitting really good right now for them. Their starting pitching is going to be a really big spot that's not going to be good for them. John Means is obviously pretty decent, but he's not an ace of a pitcher. He's a number 2 in a just average rotation. He's probably number 3 in a good rotation. If you're looking at a top 10 rotation in baseball, I think he's probably number 3. Renato Nunez, I think he could be a big piece at the trade deadline if they wanted to go that route and trade him at the trade deadline. Austin Hayes is also looking pretty good. I think he's a really good leadoff hitter for their future. They've still got prospects that will be coming up. Adley Rutschman, Grayson Rodriguez, DL Hall. They've got a lot of prospects that will be coming up, and their future's looking very bright. This year, I think they'll definitely fall, and they kind of have been a little bit. They were above 500. I just don't see them keeping on this pace for the rest of the season. Obviously, anything could happen in a weird 60-game season. But so far through 13 games, I think they've been definitely above what people have thought. Next team's the Tampa Bay Rays, who I think have definitely underperformed so far. And the reason I say that is because their starting pitching's really not been good. Yarbrough didn't look good in his start versus the Rays. Their relief pitching is really not even up to full strength right now. Oliver Drake's been looking good. Chaz Rowe, but as far as the Tampa Bay Rays, I think they're a very good team. It's just they've got to perform well, and they haven't performed greatly so far. I think Jose Martinez is going to break out eventually for them. I think other players are going to break out eventually. The pitching's there. The hitting is going to come. But as far as I think they're going to be really good, and I think they could possibly make a run. I think they probably will back to second place. They're tied for second place right now at a 6-7 record and 3 games back with the Orioles. Obviously, I don't think the Orioles are going to keep on that pace, and anybody that does, I know it's a weird season. I just don't see the Orioles keeping on that pace. Renato Nunez, I don't think can keep on that pace. He can't be nearly as good. Chris Davis is still looking terrible. He's got like a below 100 batting average. So the Orioles right now, they're not ready just yet, but they're okay. Next is the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, not the Tampa Bay Rays, the Boston Red Sox. Now, the Red Sox, they are looking like the worst team in baseball. They're in 4th place in their division right now, but they're looking so bad. They're 5-8 right now, 4 games back. Their starting pitching's only giving them 3 innings. Big trouble there. If your starting pitching's only giving you 3 innings, I have big concerns with your team. And I just can't see the Red Sox being successful this year. I think this is probably one of their worst teams that they've put out. I understand that the starting pitching may come, and it may come easily. But with Eduardo Rodriguez not being there, Chris Sale, he's injured. I just don't see much hope for the Red Sox this year. And the reason I don't see much hope for the Red Sox this year is just because their starting pitching is bad. It's bad. Martin Perez is going like 3 innings. Nathan Eovaldi's going like 3 innings. Ryan Weber. They've also got, who else do they have? I don't even know who else they have. And they're using like 1 or 2 openers a week. That does not seem like a successful team to me. Now, their bullpen is obviously could be good. Brandon Workman is really, really good. Hef Hembree can be good. Barnes could be good too. But as of right now, the Red Sox just aren't looking too good. And then the Toronto Blue Jays, they're in 5th place right now, 4-7 record and 4 games back. Now, the Blue Jays, they're having some big problems with their relief pitching, and I just watched the Blue Jays, so I'm pretty updated on the way the Blue Jays are looking right now, just because they played the Braves in just a couple of days ago. Overall, what I saw from the games is their hitting looks pretty decent. I didn't see much good out of Vladimir Guerrero, nor Bo Bichette, or Kevin Biggio. I didn't see really anything that was really like, he's going to be really good this year, to me. My big problem with them was their relief pitching. Wilmer Font pitched terrible, who I thought could be a sneaky big piece in their bullpen. Daniel Hatch pitched really well. Jordan Romano, he pitched good the first game, and then the second game, if I remember right, he pitched okay. But as far as what I'm looking at from the Blue Jays right now, I'm not seeing anything that's just overly like, they're going to win the AL East this year. And I think they're probably the 3rd place team right now. But as far as their start, they're not looking very good. Hyun-Jin Ryu still not pitching very well. Matt Shoemaker's not looking anywhere like he was in 2019. Nate Pearson, I think he's going to be really, really good. But he can't lead that rotation. Hyun-Jin Ryu, Matt Shoemaker, players like those are going to have to be better. The veterans are going to have to be better for the Blue Jays. And they're just not looking too good right now. Next, in the AL Central, we've obviously in first place is the Minnesota Twins. They're 10-4 right now. They're looking very good. Their pitching's looking good. Jose Barrios is looking good. Jake Odorizzi's looking pretty decent, I think. I haven't watched a Twins game yet. I don't remember. I don't think I have watched a Twins game yet this season. Just because all their games really have been blowouts, just because their hitting is so good. Just looking at catcher Mitch Garver, he's good. He can hit 20 home runs in a regular season. Who knows in a 60-game season. First base is Miguel Sano. He can hit home runs. He's not the greatest first baseman just because he's not very fast. He's not the greatest first baseman as far as fielding. But if you're looking at hitting, he's really good. You've got Luis Arias there too. He's decent. Shortstop's Francisco Lindor. Not Francisco Lindor. I was looking at the Indians. The Twins, Jorge Polanco's their shortstop. Josh Donaldson's at third base, who was just placed on the 10-day IL. I can't remember the injury, but he's on the 10-day IL. Their outfield's really good. Eddie Rosario in left, Byron Buxton in center, and right field is Max Kepler. So they have a really good team if you're looking at hitting. Obviously, their pitching could be a problem, but I think their pitching is pretty decent, actually. Jose Barrios, Jake Odorizzi, Rich Hill, I think could be really good. Kenta Maeda is always going to be pretty decent there. And then their fifth starter's up for debate, whoever they want to pitch there. Obviously, Brusdar Graterol would have been a good fit. They traded him away to the Dodgers for Kenta Maeda. But I just think the Twins are really good, and I think if we're looking before the season or right now, they're definitely the best team in the AL Central. And I think it's pretty much by far. Their relief pitching could be a problem. Sergio Romo's probably the best pitcher out of the pen besides Taylor Rogers. He's their closer. Sergio Romo's their eighth inning guy. I think their starting pitching, and any of those starting pitchers, I think, could give you 6 innings on a good night. or not even a good night, just a regular night, they could give you 6 innings. And the Twins are really, really good. I think they're the best team in the AL Central right now. I know a lot of teams are underperforming, overperforming, whatever. But as far as the Twins, I think they're performing probably a little bit above, but they've got off to a quick start, and I think they stay on this quick start and possibly could have the best record in the AL. Next team is the Chicago White Sox, and the White Sox are interesting just because I like the White Sox team. I like their hitting. They obviously lost Nick Madrigal to injury, which is a big loss, I think. Now you have to put Leury Garcia at second base, which is not the best second baseman. But as far as if we're looking through the starting lineup, it's really good. Luis Robert in center field, I think he's the AL Rookie of the Year right now, even though Anderson Tejeda for the Rangers, which we'll talk about later, is looking really, really good. You've got Eloy Jimenez in left field, who's probably not the best fielder in left field, but he can hit the ball. In right field is Nomar Mazara, who is a pretty good fielder in right field and can hit the ball pretty well too. In their infield, you've got Jose Abreu, who's looking really, really good so far. You've also got at second Leury Garcia, nothing special. He's a ninth hitter right now. He does what a ninth hitter, you pretty much need a ninth hitter to do. Not too much. He gets on base a little bit. He steals some bases when he gets on base. That's about it. Shortstop's Tim Anderson, who looks really good. At the top of that lineup is really good. And third base is third base. Who is third base for the White Sox? Am I totally forgetting somebody? This is bothering me. Who is third baseman for the White Sox? I don't know. Let me look it up real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, just give me 1 second. I'm going to find out who this White Sox third baseman is. It's bothering me. Oh, it's Yoan Moncada. Yoan Moncada. He is, I think he's going to be really good. Yoan Moncada is really, really good. He came over in the Chris Sale trade. He's looking really good so far. Obviously, the biggest question for the White Sox is mainly starting pitching for me. Dallas Keuchel looks good. Not anywhere near his self when he was with the 2017 Astros. Lucas Giolito still looks decent. Rayano Lopez is on the IL. Dylan Cease is up. Dane Dunning, I think he's going to be pitching some. Brady Lale's been pitching some. They've got a lot of different pitchers in there, and I think they're going to be decent. I think they're probably the second place favorites right now, even though I do like what I'm seeing from the Indians right now. I think they're probably the second place favorites. Alex Colomé is still there, and he's going to be really good. But who knows? White Sox, they're looking pretty good right now. Their hitting's looking good. Their pitching's a little iffy. I think everybody knew that to come and get to the season that their pitching was a little iffy. Now the Detroit Tigers, I think they're overperforming a little bit. 6-5, 2.5 games back. They're tied with the Indians. The Tigers, I'm just not a big fan of the Tigers, and I'm not sure how the heck they've already won 6 games, and they're at an above 500 record. CJ Cron's looking good. I think he's going to be a big trade piece at the trade deadline for him. I think you could get a couple good prospects back. Jonathan Scope, also, you could, if a team was looking for a second baseman, you could probably get one back. I would even say maybe trade him in division to like the White Sox, just because the White Sox don't have a second baseman, and if Nick Madrigal's out for the season, then they don't really have much hope at second base. The Tigers, I think they're going to fall off a cliff. The Indians, they're 8-7 right now, 2.5 games back. I think what I'm seeing from the Indians right now is pretty good. Their hitting's looking really good. Shane Bieber is looking like an AL Cy Young possibility. Mike Clevenger's looking good. Their whole starting rotation is looking really good. Shane Bieber is pitching them 7 innings a game, maybe 1 or 2 runs, and he is pitching very well so far, and I think that Corey Kluber trade doesn't even hurt right now because he's out for the season with the Rangers. Their hitting's going to be good. Jose Ramirez has finally gotten back to where he's starting to hit the ball decently again. You've also got Francisco Lindor. He's hitting the ball well. Franmil Reyes, he's doing pretty decent. Lots of players on this Indians team are doing good. And I think that they're going to be fighting for that third place spot, and I think definitely with an expanded playoffs, they can get in the playoffs. And last team's the Kansas City Royals, who are 5-10 right now, 5.5 games now. I was watching their game versus the Cubs, and they were looking pretty decent. I mean, they were beating up the Cubs pitching, they were looking good. But as far as the team this year, they've just not been looking good, and I don't think that's any secret. I don't think they're going to look good this year. The Tigers could possibly sneak into fourth place. I don't think they trade any big pieces at the trade deadline. Maybe Jorge Soler or Hunter Dozier. No way. I think they're trading Whit Merrifield. They've got a lot of bright pieces so far. I think Brady Singer's a pretty, a bright piece for them. So they've got a lot of good players for the future. It's just right now, So we'll go ahead and move on to the AL West. First, the Oakland A's, they're 10-4 right now. They're looking very good. And I've watched some of the A's games this year when they were playing the Rangers, the Angels. So I've watched a couple A's games this year. And the A's are looking really good. Their hitting is looking really, really good to me. Matt Olson's looking good. Matt Chapman's looking good. Both have had grand slams already this year. So they're looking very good so far. And I think the Astros should be dangerously scared for them. And I think they should be dangerously scared for the Angels when we get to the Angels, obviously, in a couple minutes. But as far as the A's right now, they're looking good. I think they're probably AL West Division favorites right now. I know Astros fans are going to be like, well, we're obviously the better team. I don't think so, and I'll explain why. Because I think the A's pitching is better right now, whether it's in the bullpen or starting pitching. I think both is better right now. Houston has some injuries, and I think they're going to definitely have a down season. And let's go ahead and talk about them. They're 6-7 right now, 3.5 games back. They've fallen off a cliff. They've lost 2 straight to the Diamondbacks. Or they lost 2 straight to the Diamondbacks. Yeah, they're on a 3-game losing streak. They're 4-6 in their last 10, so they've definitely kind of fallen off a cliff since that hot start from the Mariners. And they've got a lot of injuries. Zach Greinke, Lance McCullers are their top 2 pitchers. Justin Verlander's injured. He may be out for the season. Garrett Cole, they lost him in free agency. Obviously, Wade Miley's a big loss in free agency. Josh James is looking okay. But they've got a lot of injuries. Roberto Ozuna, I'm pretty sure, is injured too. And they've got a lot of injuries. Their hitting, I understand their hitting has not performed greatly yet. Alex Bregman's still not doing good. Jose Altuve's still not doing good yet. And both of those hitters aren't doing good yet. And I understand their hitting's going to be good. I just don't think their pitching is going to be that great. Now the LA Angels, they're looking very good so far. And watch out for the Angels. I think they could go on a big win streak. Now, I would like to say, I was watching the game last night, and the Angels were just looking terrible. And it was mainly because of their pitching. I think their hitting was looking decent. Mike Trout hit that home run in the first inning. But as far as that the Angels pitching was just looking bad, especially in the 4th inning. Looking so bad. Griffin Canning makes that throw to second base. What was he doing there? I mean, what was he doing? And then a bad call. I think it was at second base. A really bad call. It should have been 3-3. We should have been an extra. It should have been an extra innings. But their pitching's looking okay. I think it's kind of overperforming right now, to be honest with you. Just because Dylan Bundy is just doing so good for them. Next is the Texas Rangers, who have got off to a pretty slow start. They're 4-8 right now, 5 games back. The Rangers. Jordan Lyles hasn't really done very well. Kyle Gibson's done okay. Corey Kluber's obviously a big loss, I think. I predicted him to win the AL Cy Young. a big reason why I was putting them in third place was what I thought Corey Kluber was going to be, with Lance Lynn and Mike Minor in that rotation. The pitching rotation just really hasn't lived up to anything yet, and their relief pitching is just not great either, and that's mainly because Jose Lyric's injured. I know Jonathan Hernandez is looking really, really good right now, and I think he still keeps up that pace, but he can't just pretty much lead the whole bullpen. Their hitting is looking okay. Joey Gallo's injured, obviously. Anderson Tejeda's looking really good. I think he's going to have a really good season. They could possibly bring Sam Huff up too. So they've got a lot of different options. And last team in the AL is going to be the Mariners. And the Mariners right now, they're 5-10, 5.5 games back. Nobody expected them to be good. Everybody expected them to be in 5th place. No team is in the AL right now is really looking as bad as they are. I know Kyle Seager's been looking good, and I know you see Kikuchi's looking pretty decent right now too. I know those players are looking decent right now, and they won a couple games to the Angels. That won't happen when the Angels get into their previous form, and when Rendon's playing good, and when Simmons is back, and when we don't have Rengifo at shortstop. And I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Justin Dunn, who's the starting pitcher for them. They've got a bright future. It's just right now, We'll move on to the NL, and we'll start off with the Marlins, who are 7-1 right now, which obviously is because they haven't had to play as many games. Now, the Marlins are a team that I kind of thought could be a bit of a surprise team to some people, and that's just because they do have some options. Jesus Aguilar, Jonathan Villar, those players are really good. Brian Anderson's obviously really, really good. Sandy Alcantara still has yet to pitch for them. He's on the COVID IL. And like half their players are. So, that's that. And next team is my favorite team, the Atlanta Braves. They're 9-5 right now and 1 game back. They're looking pretty decent. They're not even to full strength right now. Ozzie Albies is injured. We haven't even called up Christian Pache, Drew Waters, or Ian Anderson right now. Bryce Wilson still has yet to be called up. He's played some innings in the major leagues. He just hasn't been called up yet. Freddie Freeman's still not played well. Dansby Swanson's been looking really good. At third base, we've got Riley or Camargo. I personally would go with Riley just because he's younger, and I think Camargo is valuable in he could play anywhere role, because Charlie Culberson's going to be playing some second base, and he would be the main utility player. Their catcher is Tyler Flowers or Travis d'Arnaud. I personally am liking what I'm seeing from Travis d'Arnaud more right now. As far as their starting pitching, that's going to be a big if with them. Max Fried, obviously, is pretty decent. Soroka's out for the season. And you've also got Toussaint, you've got Wright, you've got... Who else do you have in that rotation? You've got Newcomb, and not really great players as far as their pitching rotation. Max Fried's looking really good. Sean Newcomb has potential. I think more potential out of the bullpen. Wright doesn't look good at all. Toussaint's pitched to Jim the last time they played because they didn't play yesterday due to a rainout. Next is the Philadelphia Phillies. They're 3-4 right now, 3.5 games back. Now the Phillies, I think, are a 4th place team. And my reasons for that is their starting pitching. I just do not like their starting pitching. Nola and Wheeler are pretty much the only bright spots now. I know Wheeler's been looking good so far. They're just not looking great right now. The back end of that rotation scares me a lot, and I think it should for Phillies fans or any fan that thinks the Phillies can do decent this year. Their bullpen is absolutely terrible. Hector Neris is pretty much the only bright spot in that bullpen. They still have a pitcher that they could call up, Spencer Howard. He's really good. He could be their number 3. Alex Baum, they still have yet to call up. So they do have some hope. I just don't see it this year. Next in 4th place is the Washington Nationals, a team that I thought would do very well. They're 4-6 right now and 4 games back. Reasons for that: Juan Soto, Steven Strasburg, 2 of their better players have still not played yet. The Nationals, they're going to be pretty good, I think. I know that they lost Rendon. Rendon hasn't even played that well so far, so not looking like too big of a loss. Last team's the New York Mets. They're 5-9 and 5 games back right now. We all know the problem with the Mets, and that's the bullpen. Diaz, he is absolutely terrible. Lugo didn't look good in a game versus the Braves that I was watching. Familia, he's okay. When he's good, he's good. And same with Diaz. When he's good, he's good. But when he's bad, he's absolutely terrible. And for the Mets, they're just not a team that I think they're probably going to sneak into the playoffs just because it's an expanded playoffs. But in a regular playoffs, I don't see them making the playoffs. I still think the Nationals are better. I still think the Braves are better. The Marlins are not better, let's be honest. They're playing better, but they're not better. The Mets starting pitching, obviously, they're missing Stroman and Syndergaard. Syndergaard is out for the season, and Stroman is injured. And so they've got some injuries. Porcello's not looked great. He looked good one game, then he looked bad another couple. Matz is not looking too good either. DeGrom obviously is looking good. He's the best pitcher in baseball. David Peterson looked good in the first start. Then in the second start, I'm pretty sure he didn't look too well. Too good, I mean. So, yeah, the Mets, their bullpen's their problem right now, and I think they will definitely improve through the season when they start getting their players back. Pete Alonso's not looked good right now. He has not looked good so far either. So they still have some spots to improve, and I think they'll make some improvements through the season to get a lot better. Now we go to the NL Central, and the Cubs are looking really good so far. They're 10-3, and the Cubs looking good so far is really a fluke to me, or not fluke's not the right word. It's really just I just don't see it. The Cubs, I understand their pitching's looking good. Chatwood's looking good. Lester's looking good. Darvish is looking good. Hendricks is looking good. But as far as this team, their bullpen is absolutely terrible. Kyle Ryan's looked good, but Craig Kimbrell has all of a sudden forgotten how to pitch. So the Cubs are looking good. They're going to be sidelined for a few games because the Cardinals have tested positive, obviously. But the Cubs right now, they're looking pretty decent. I think they're kind of going to fall off a little bit too, just because I think some other teams in this division are going to start getting a lot better. Next team is the Milwaukee Brewers. They're 5-6 right now, below 500 record, and they're in second place. They're 4 games back. Christian Yelich obviously still hasn't been hitting that well. Their starting pitching obviously could be a definite spot that holds them back. I think they're probably the third place team right now. The Cardinals are not looking good at all. The Pirates are obviously looking terrible. They're looking like the worst team in baseball right now. And I'll explain more of that. The Brewers' bullpen's obviously going to be good. They have Josh Hader, probably the best reliever in baseball there. So they're going to look good in the bullpen. They've got Corey Knebel there, who was a former closer who was really good for them. They've got a lot of other pieces in that bullpen. Their bullpen's really good. Their starting pitching is going to be the only thing to hold them back because I think Christian Yelich is going to start to be good for them. Next is the Cincinnati Reds. They're 6-8 right now and 4.5 games back. And they just really haven't been looking good. Nicholas Castellanos has been looking like the NL MVP right now. He's been looking very good. But besides that, they've just really not had a lot of bright spots. Obviously, Trevor Bauer's been pitching very well. Luis Castillo's not. He's not been pitching very well at all. So, yeah, the Reds right now, they're not looking great. I think they are going to improve, though. Because a lot of their players just aren't doing that great right now. And next team is the St. Louis Cardinals. They're 2-3 right now, 4 games back. They've obviously only played 5 games, and some teams have obviously played 15 already. So, the Cardinals right now, I think their big thing is the starting pitching rotation. Jack Flaherty's obviously good. Dakota Hudson's good. Carlos Martinez is getting pitched out of the bullpen more. So the Cardinals have some ifs right now. They're through their first 5 games, they look like a fourth place team to me. Right now, if I was predicting the standings, I'm still going with the Reds in first place, Cubs in second, Brewers third, St. Louis fourth, and obviously the Pirates fifth, who we'll talk about right now. They're looking so bad. And reasons for that, I just can't explain really any reasons for that, but the Pirates, they're just not looking good, and I don't think anyone was expecting them to be good. They're 3-11 right now, 6 games back. They're not looking good. Joe Musgrove hasn't looked good. He's 1-2 right now, or 0-3, or 0-2. I think he's 0-2 right now. But so far, just the Pirates, they're looking like the worst team in baseball. And the final division that we're going to get to in this video, that's going to be the Colorado Rockies, or the NL West. I'm out of it right now. But the Rockies are looking really good right now. They've got Kyle Freeland looking like 2018 version of himself. They've got Antonio Senzatella, who's looking good. Herman Marquez. Lots of good pitchers that are looking good. Their hitting's going to be good. Raimel Tapia, David Dahl, Charlie Blackmon in the outfield. They've got Trevor Story. They've got Daniel Murphy. They've got Garrett Hampson. They've got Ryan McMahon. They've got Nolan Arenado. They've got Tony Walters. They've got John Gray, who can pitch very well, who's been their best pitcher. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Next team is the LA Dodgers, who are looking really good right now. It's just that the Rockies are playing almost better. That's because some of their starting pitching really didn't look good at the start of the season. Buehler, Kershaw wasn't even there to pitch. Dustin May's going to be really good, I think. They've got a lot of bright spots, and I think they're going to look very good. Bellinger still hasn't played very well yet. Betts was off to a slow start at the start of the season. He's starting to heat up. So the Dodgers have some problems, but not really any problems. They're just like slow starts. Their relief pitching obviously could be a problem. Kenley Jansen. They've got Joe Kelly whenever he gets back from suspension. So their bullpen's going to be their problem. I think you can move Dustin May to the bullpen if it's a problem. Next team is the San Diego Padres. They're 8-6 right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10 games with a 1-game winning streak. Padres are looking really good to me right now. I think Garrett Richards could have a breakout year. Chris Paddock's obviously looking pretty decent. Their bullpen's one of the best in baseball, I think. And so far, the Padres are looking really, really good. Next team's the San Francisco Giants. They're 6-9 right now, 5 games back. The Giants, I think they're obviously the 5th place team. This is a really tough NL West division, and I just don't think there's much hope for a team that's managed by probably the worst manager in the league, Gabe Kapler. Brandon Crawford's washed, Brandon Belt's washed, and I know I say this every time I talk about this team. But they're washed. Evan Longoria's washed too. He's looked good so far, but I still think he's washed. Last team's the Diamondbacks. They've looked very bad so far. Madison Bumgarner's looking really bad in a Diamondbacks uniform so far. He went from San Francisco to Arizona, and he's pitching terribly. Is it the roof? I'm just stating. Is it possibly the roof? I don't know. I think it possibly could be pitching under a roof, but I think he would still pitch good because I still think it's a little. I mean, obviously it's hot in San Francisco, but you've got the McCovey Cove thing, which would possibly make it cooler, right? The Diamondbacks, they've not been looking great so far, and I still think they're going to sneak into the playoffs. With the hitting they've got David Peralta, Starling Marte, Cole Calhoun, Ketel Marte, Christian Walker, Eduardo Escobar, Nick Ahmed, Carson Kelly, or Stephen Vogt. And their starting pitching is not bad at all. They've got Mad Bum, they've got Luke Weaver, they've got Robbie Ray, they've got Zach Gallen, they've got Muriel Kelly, who's probably the worst out of the bunch. Their relief pitching is going to be their problem, though, and that's Archie Bradley and Hector Rendon. That's about it. In their bullpen, Andrew Chafin can be good, too. But that's going to be the end of this video. I know it's a long video, so if you made it to the end, you had to like something, so go ahead and leave a like on the video. I will probably do this every week on the channel because I had fun doing this video. Just talking about every team, talking about baseball, and what I'm seeing from teams right now. And I think I'm just going to do this every week on the channel. So make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you will get notified whenever I upload a video. Make sure to subscribe, though, so you won't miss out on weekly Talking Baseball with me, PLB. So that's going to be the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you drop a like, and that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back with more videos very soon.